Hello and welcome to the Connect podcast, a podcast by the Holdridge Area Chamber of Commerce. I'm super excited today because we're joined with Abbi Thorell from Sweet Blooms Village, a new chamber member, and really excited to learn a lot about your business and for you guys to learn a little bit about your business. So thanks so much for sitting with me.
Yeah.
Before we start, tell me a little bit about how this all kind of started for you.
Yeah, the backstory of how this started is kind of long, but in 2020, my daughter was born and she was in the NICU, so we were in Omaha. And I was just really missing being in the garden and being outside. And my husband had pitched the idea of what if we did something, and we didn't really know, would that be selling produce? Would it be flowers? So that's where it all started. And it kind of, over the years, we planned and experimented and landed on a flower farm. And then it also was very heavily influenced by my grandparents. My grandpa Jim, he in Kansas, he was phenomenal. He did landscaping and he had some greenhouses, and my grandma was a florist. So all of those kind of influences came together, and we landed on Sweet Blooms Village. So
that's amazing. So are you originally from the area?
Oh, no, I'm not. So I moved here in 2019, and I took a job with Sergeant Irrigation, and that's how I ended up here. I'm originally kind of from north central Nebraska, south central South Dakota. So winter South Dakota or Valentine, Springview area.
Sure. Yeah. Oh, that's fun. So take us through like a typical day. What's a day look like out there on the farm?
It's seasonal, all the work is, so it depends on the time of the year.
Sure.
Right now, a typical day is lots and lots of planting. I have a lot of stuff I've started from seed that we're getting planted, and then a lot of stuff we order in plugs too, especially this year since we're expanding.
Yeah.
And we didn't have all of our infrastructure in place in time. So I ordered a lot of plugs, and we're planting like crazy and then watering like crazy because it's been so dry.
Yeah.
So, and we don't have a well. So we haul a tank around. You'll probably see us on Highway 23 hauling tanks back and forth from the farm or our house out to run sprinklers and run drip irrigation.
Yeah. There's a lot that goes into what you do. It's funny. We talked a little bit before we started recording about I'm learning from your Facebook just on simple posts you're putting up. I'm like, oh, that is the difference between these flowers.
Yeah.
What do you think makes your flowers different than someone else's flowers or others that are doing this?
Yeah. A lot of times if you go to buy flowers, at the grocery store or from a florist, those flowers have been shipped and they've maybe been cut, 2 weeks, 3 weeks ago. And so sometimes the reason you feel like you might see the same flowers over and over again is because they have really good storage life, because, they were shipped internationally. They had to be able to survive those shipping conditions. And then they also need to be able to sit in a cooler for a florist or grocery store and last, just a little bit, because their shelf life isn't great. And in order to make margins meet, they have to have some shelf life. So that limits the kind of creativity florists can have sometimes. The exception is for big events where they can really plan ahead and order different things, and same with grocery stores. Well, where I'm growing, I do consider that a little bit, but not as much, because if my flowers don't make it, I get to enjoy them at home.
Sure.
So, of course, it's like you don't want to waste too much money, but we've done things in a way that our growth is really small, and each year it's like paying for itself. So I don't have to worry about that as much, and I can be a little bit more creative in what I grow. And that's why we offer things like dahlias are really popular right now, but they don't ship well. The petals will get crunched and then they dry out too easy. So offering those local are a lot of fun.
Is that something, if people are ordering those, do prices have something to do with that as well? Like, are tariffs pretty bad about that or on flowers?
Unfortunately, I've talked to a few different florists, and tariffs have been really bad on flowers right now. Really? And just the shipping costs. I know if I have a shortage or it's out of season and someone asks me to do something, I'll order in flowers. And I always just feel so bad because it's like, just to get these flowers in is about 2 times as much as what I sell a stem for.
Yeah.
But you can't help that either.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, we talked a little bit before we started recording about your upcoming ribbon cutting on May 8th.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have plans, make sure you make it out May 8th at noon. We're going to do a lot of things out there. We're going to have some snacks and some food. We'll have a walking tour to follow after the ribbon cutting. But it makes me wonder, how has the community supported you so far?
Yeah. So far, the community has been really supportive. Like I said, I'm not originally from here, so I think a lot of people didn't even know I existed around here for a little bit, and word got out, especially last year, that, oh, Abbi is doing this. And I had women in the community that like I don't know, and they just showed up at my house with boxes of vases, literally boxes of vases. And then I've had other people call and ask like, hey, could you use, I have these fake flowers. Can you use them for your displays, or, just all kinds of stuff. And then even the community of Bertrand especially has been really supportive. I've gotten involved with their farmers market, and it's an awesome farmers market, and they're doing a lot to hopefully improve it this year, which is exciting. But that community has been really supportive too. And I even it's a lot of fun with the grocery store over there. Meredith is the florist, and her and I work together. She is great. If I need, stems ordered because it's out of season, that helps cut costs for both of us to, get more stems ordered at once and stuff. So it's a lot of fun. The community, it feels like there's, there could be competition between Meredith and I, but there's not. And that's really cool. I think that's a lot of people's attitude. It's like people just want to see others succeed here, and then just bring something new and creative is fun.
That's right. One thing I learned early in my life was the law of abundance, right? Just because somebody else has something going on doesn't really take from yours. And Phelps County does that well.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of competition. There's friendly competition and healthy competition, but there's not a lot of that toxic, I do this, you shouldn't do that type of attitude here. You mentioned a little bit about the vase story. I would love if you dig into that a little bit. It's one of my favorite stories of your business.
Yeah.
But the community coming and bringing the vases. Do you mind talking about that?
So it's kind of fun. I've had a few different women just show up like, hey, I've got these vases. Would you like them? And it's like, yeah. And then the one gal was so sweet. She called me. Someone gave her my number. I have some vases for you. Can I drop by? Sure. And she brings one box to my door and then brings 2 more. So I literally have totes of them. But those were all donated and free. And because of that, when someone calls for a custom order, I don't charge for a vase. Same with like what I sell at a farmer's market. The vases are included in the cost. I just feel like I should pay it forward in that. And then this year for my subscriptions, because I've been given so many vases, my subscriptions come in wrap bouquets, so they're not in a vase. But if someone wants a vase, they get to pick out a vase to take, and refill all summer long. So.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I love that because I think that also makes your business unique too. That's not something I think every florist offers. What's your favorite part of doing this?
Oh man. Well, my favorite part is that I get to do it with family.
Nice.
My 3-year-old, she is really, really taken a liking to the flower farm and helping with flowers. And, she's getting big enough now where she can help actually plant stuff. And she does pretty good. She's pretty careful with everything. So that's a lot of fun. And I think my 2-year-old, she'll, like it too. She's just got to get to where she's a little more observant. But that's probably my favorite part. And my husband, Kelly, does a lot with me on the flower farm. And I love when we all get to go actually work together too. Yeah. And then the other favorite part is just like being out in nature. My husband and I were just talking about where the farm is located, like it's out in the open. There's no other houses or building right there. And there's just a tiny bit of dirt road traffic, and it's so peaceful. You can work out there and the birds are chirping, and you don't hear like the hum of electricity. You don't realize how loud it is when you're in town until you kind of get out in the open. And it's that like peacefulness of like, oh, it is so nice here,
Yeah. No, that's amazing. The whole, you can see the stars, right?
Yeah.
That kind of vibe.
Yep.
Yeah, I love that. If someone's never bought or visited, what would you suggest they try first?
Yeah. I would say stay in your budget, but the seasonal subscriptions is a great place to start. If you don't know a lot about flowers, you get to learn a variety of flowers and see them, in your house. And those subscriptions, those are my priority flowers. So they're, you get the first of the best cuts. They're going to have the longest vase life with a couple exceptions. I do peonies, those don't live as long, but I make sure to put those kind of flowers in the vase more in a bud stage so that you get to experience them opening and having that longer vase life and kind of appreciate the cycle of the flower, not just, the one really big full day of a peony.
Right.
So the subscriptions, that's a great place to start. Another really good place to start or experience some of my flowers would be the Bertrand Farmers Market this year. So I'll have a variety of price options, but some straight stem bunches too. Those sell a little cheaper, and you still get a whole bouquet to take home, and that's a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's fun. Also, if you're heading to the Midsummer Festival this year, there may be a few opportunities for you to check some things out too.
Yeah.
Stay tuned for some announcements on that. One of my favorite parts, actually my favorite part of this podcast, is this last question. I like to ask every guest just for one piece of advice. It can be life advice, you're a mom, it can be parenting advice, it can be business advice for someone wanting to start something like this. Do you have anything you'd like to leave the listeners with?
I suppose one thing I've thought a lot about recently is oftentimes convenience is a lie. And that sounds kind of crazy because we live in a world where a lot of things sold to us are convenience, but working, with flowers and farming, there's lots of things you can do to kind of cut corners, or, it's you can, in flower farming, for example, you can use a pre-emergent to help with weeds. Mm-hmm. And there might be a time and a place for that, but really the best thing, for your soil health and what's going to give you the most blooms is to just actually get down on your hands and knees and pull the weeds.
Yeah.
And so with a lot of things, I think convenience is a lie. I like the rest of us love fast food or a pop, but the better food for you is the homemade food, or, and it plays into so many things, but it's a saying I heard a while ago and it's really stuck with me. So
yeah, that's definitely getting clipped for TikTok. So no, thank you so much for sitting with me today. I hope you guys learned a little bit about Sweet Blooms Village. If you have any other questions, how can they reach out to you?
Yeah, you can find me on Facebook. I have my personal account is on there. Locally, a lot of people have me on there, but then I have a business one, Sweet Blooms Village, and I have a website. You can reach out to me on there, or you can shoot me a call or text. My number is on all of those.
That's amazing. Well, thank you so much for sitting with me today. You guys have a good rest of your week.